Good evening. I'm calling the July 20th meeting of the Fort Vancouver Regional Library Board of Trustees to order. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Christy. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, I will move this to a vote. Miranda, will you please call the roll?
Jane Cavanagh,
Here.
Marie Coffey, Olga Hodges,
Aye.
Irina Takarina,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Christy Morgan,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Motion passes. The agenda for tonight's meeting was approved. I don't really have any announcements. I just would like to welcome Janie and Richard to their first meeting, and we will move on to public comments. So next, we will hear public comments. We will take up to 1 hour. Each person will have 2 minutes to speak. And please come up to the xylophone red X and tell us your name and direct your comments to the board.
Sophie will be handing you the microphone for everyone that does come up because we don't have a stand tonight.
We have two remotes.
Okay, we'll start with online comments. Thank you, Miranda.
First, we have Jamie Baird. Jamie, has been okay to unmute.
Good evening. Good evening, Board of Trustees and Executive Director. My name is Jamie Bear. My pronouns are they, them, and I've worked as a librarian for Fort Vancouver Regional Libraries for a decade. I'm speaking tonight as president of AFSCME Local 307L, the labor union representing librarians and supervisors at FVRL. Welcome to the two newest board appointments. As I'm sure you are aware, you are stepping onto a library board facing public scrutiny for ignoring the will of the public and removing equity and equitable access from the strategic plan. As you begin your time on the board, the library workers who create the welcoming spaces, build the library's collection, and connect our libraries to the wider community urge you to take seriously the Board of Trustees' ethics and hold your colleagues to these same standards, including working to ensure that the public has equal access to information, both as a constitutional right and as the best way to sustain a democratic way of life. Be prepared to support the efforts of library staff in resisting censorship. Support the acquisition and maintenance of a complete and balanced library collection. Maintain independent judgment without regard to personal benefit, special interests, or influence of partisan political groups. Follow legal and ethical practices in making decisions. Avoid situations in which personal interests might be served or financial benefits gained at the expense of library users, colleagues, or the institution, and disqualify themselves immediately whenever the appearance of a conflict of interest exists. On behalf of AFSCME Local 307L, welcome to FVRL. We look forward to working with you to rebuild public trust in this public institution.
Online, we have Quill Onstead. Quill, you've been allowed to unmute.
Hi, my name is Quill Onstead and my pronouns are they, them. I'm here to speak in support of Drag Queen Stoyer as a genderqueer member of the library community. Welcome to our newest board members. We'll become familiar with each other real fast. This past weekend was Portland Pride. Despite the current political landscape, people showed up and showed out. Fred Meyer and US Bank were two of the corporations I spotted at the festival, in addition to independent businesses, nonprofits, and artists. There were also a number of different faith organizations. There were floats in the parade from Presbyterians, Episcopalians, Lutherans, and Methodists, to name a few. Their message was clear. All were welcome and loved as they are. Opponents of Drag Queen Story Hour like to tout the United States as a quote-unquote Christian nation. Setting aside the tiny matter of separation of church and state, there are so many different denominations of Christianity. This was true even when our nation was founded. There were Anglicans, Protestants, Catholics, Lutherans, Methodists, and Presbyterians among the founding fathers. Which version of Christianity is the correct version for this so-called Christian nation? The United States has been and always will be a melting pot of cultures and strengthened by the resulting diversity. The ability to learn about and accept cultures different from the ones you grew up with is a vital skill. Drag Queen Story Hour is a vital program that teaches kids about gender identity in an age-appropriate manner. Parents who do not approve of Drag Queen Story Hour do not have to bring their children to any Drag Queen Story Hour programs. Please allow the staff of FVRLibraries to present Drag Queen Story Hour and have the district live up to the ideals espoused in FVRLibraries' equity statement. Thank you for your service to the community.
Next up, we have in the room Sue Pennington.
Sophie will give you the microphone.
Hi, my name is Sue Pennington, and
And Sue, if you hold it straight on.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Better?
Mhm.
Okay.
Thanks.
And I am acting president of our Friends of the Library here in White Salmon, and I want to welcome you on their behalf and also personally. We've been through a rough year together, and as this page turns, I just am here to say that I want to go forward with understanding, with curiosity, and in a way that we can all work from the best parts of ourselves for a better library service for the residents of our communities. And so, yeah, I just want to leave you with that and to say welcome again. We're pleased to have a full board to work with. And yes, and if anybody wants coffee or tea, it's right in the kitchen, and I'm happy to, it's decaf. And I'm happy to help you with that, or you can kind of figure it out yourself. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Gary Wilson.
Gary Wilson, Clark County. Thank you, library board members, as always, for your service. And again, as always, please continue to err on the side of caution when it comes to programming and materials for your most vulnerable patrons, which would be the children. And also, thank you for building a caveat in the new strategic plan for parental guidance for children in respect to intellectual freedom. Thank you for that. And I also want to say welcome to our two new board members, Avanis and Mr. Mahar. So thank you for your service, and look forward to attending more board member meetings. So thank you.
The mayor came in after. I don't know if the mayor wants to speak. She came in after. You usually ask if anyone else wants to speak.
Okay, so we have lots of time left for public comment. Is there anyone else that did not sign up for public comment that would like to speak at this time?
The mayor does.
Welcome.
If you could come to the xylophone, Mayor. Thank you.
My name is Marla Kiefer. I'm the mayor for White Salmon. I just wanted to come tonight and welcome you all. Appreciate that you are able to be intentional about where you meet and connect with all of the communities that are served by the library system. I do just want to speak and recognize that for our community, this library is an essential part of how our community gathers and how residents of all ages are able to interact and experience and not only learn from the books and materials that are available, but from each other. We can consider this a very valuable partner in our community, and certainly have expressed it in the past locally, but really hope that we can find ways moving forward where the library system and all the cities, but especially here in White Salmon, we can find ways to partner and expand civic engagement and opportunity. We see that as a real opportunity to make sure that our communities are well informed and that there's space for all ideas and that we have an inclusive and equitable approach to the materials and opportunities that are accessed. So thank you all for serving. I know that sometimes it is thankless work, but we appreciate the work that you're doing, and it's important.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online or in person who would like to make a comment? Sue, you want to speak again?
Just another, just quickly. The part, I actually started writing a script, but then pretty soon I had to leave to get here. So the other part of it is I do want to very sincerely thank you for the work you do. There's, the scope is wide, the demands are really significant, the homework required of you, and after the people leave, you're still here going through lots of material. And anyway, that is not unappreciated. It takes a lot to run this. And so I just wanted to add that in.
Thank you.
Marla has her hand up, I will ask. Marla? Marla, if you were intending to speak, say, unmute.
All right, thank you. I will be closing public comment at this time, and we will move on to the consent agenda, which are the minutes from June 15th and the approval of claims from June 2026. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any further discussion? Right, Miranda, this to vote, please.
Abstain.
Ernie Coffey? Marie, can you hear us?
Aye.
Olga Hodges?
Aye.
Rena?
Aye.
Richard Mahar?
I'll abstain.
Christy Morgan?
Aye.
Megan Dugan?
Aye. Motion to approve the consent agenda is adopted. Approve all items, which includes the minutes and the June claims. And now, Katrina, we will move on to the financial statements.
Evening, board. I am excited to present to you the May financials this evening. So we will start on page 12 of your packet for the statement of cash.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you, Sophie. So we are on page 12 of your packet, which is the statement of cash. I'm going to point out a few things on each one of these pages. If you have questions, please let me know. And if I don't have the answer, I will get you an answer as soon as I can. So on page 12, the things that I'll point out is we did start the year at just over $18.5 million. And we were, as of May 31st, 2026, at just over $37.5 million. This is in large part based on our levy lid lift and the timing of our revenues. We receive the majority of our revenues in April and October through Clark County, and then we see the other 3 counties within our district come in May and November. And we'll see the impacts of that a little bit when we look at revenues as well. The other thing that I will point out on your statement of cash is that we are meeting our cash target, and we expect to meet our cash target for this foreseeable future in these meetings. And this is, again, in large part based on the levy lid lift and the nature of how that works for our district. As we know, we receive an increase and we kind of put that money away, so to speak, and then we draw down on that as years come. So for the at least the next 5 years in our financial forecast, we expect to be meeting or exceeding that cash target. And we all know we weren't in that place before the levy lid lift passed. There were some months where we were cutting it very close.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to page 13, which is our statement of revenues. The things that I will point out here is that we did see in May our April taxes come in for Skamania, Klickitat, and Cowlitz counties. So our tax revenues increased about 10% in May over April. And the other thing that I'll point out here is our investment interest. You've heard me say for the last few months, it'll catch up, we'll start meeting expectations. So with that, we're not quite on trend yet, but it did go up 9% in May over April, whereas January through March, it had been an average of 4.5 or 4.25% increase month over month. So we are seeing the increase and it'll continue to grow through the year. Moving on to our statement of expenses, page 14. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about our personnel budget. It's at 32%, and if we were paying the exact amount every month over 12 months, we would be at 42%. This is in large part, it was expected, several things happening. We had to, I'm not going to say this right, bargaining agreements close. So we had COLAs for AFSCME on April 1st and for WPEA on June 1st. There were some retro payments that happened in May and July. And then also our expanded hours happened in June. So in quarter 3, you'll see that start to right size as well. Then our library books and materials, they are a little bit under our percentage. That did increase 10% in May over April, so they are starting to catch up there as well. And those are the main highlights I have for your financials this evening. Any questions? Nothing unexpected or catching us off guard.
And for the board, I would just let you know in the Facilities and Finance Committee, we went into great detail because we had our new members on that committee. So they got a lot more information to help them hopefully feel good about where we are and be able to ask questions moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Katrina. If no one has any questions, we will entertain a motion to receive and file the May financial statements.
I would so move.
You got that one, Christy. Okay, is there a second? Christy seconds. Is there any further discussion? We'll take a vote, Miranda.
Any Kavanaghs?
Aye.
Brady Hoffing?
Aye.
Hudson?
Aye.
Irina Kakarina?
Aye.
Richard Mahar?
Aye.
Christy Morgan?
Aye.
Megan Dugan?
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you. May financial statements are adopted. And next we have the FVRL organizational report with Alicia and Jennifer.
Evening. I just want to talk a little bit about all the great things happening around the district, including programming and outreach. Under strategic priority, operational excellence, just wanted to talk a little bit. As you know, expanded hours went into effect June 1st, and we continue to get really positive feedback. So Stevenson had just noted that they're getting really meaningful positive feedback from the community. We were able to increase their hours to 12 a week, including 1 hour a day as well as Sundays. So folks are really, really excited about that. And then, as you know, as we finally are calling our outreach van that is serving as the Clark County Bookmobile right now, Priscilla, our programming and outreach department is excited and continue to visit the sites that we had plotted out for the summer. They were at 26 reoccurring Clark County Bookmobile sites, doing read, return, repeat books and really connecting with communities. This is going to help kind of plan what we're doing in the future and what those permanent routes will look like at some point. So that's super exciting. Woodland Library, under Community Connection, they participated in Planter Days, which they do every year and have done for quite a few years. This year, their parade entry was the Librarian Aquarium, and you'll see a really great picture right there of that. And they did earn first place for best theme. So they were really excited about that. It's always a great way to connect with patrons and all the folks that attend that great event every year. Also, our Vancouver Library, we are again doing our summer lunch distribution program in partnership with Share. That began the week of June 29th. On the very first day, we were able to serve 80 meals. We also do have volunteers helping to support that program. And one of the volunteers had just noted that it feels really great to not only be able to give back to the community, but to also volunteer and give back to the library as well. So we always really appreciate our folks that volunteer. And then, of course, we had our 2026 bookmark contest. Final celebrations were all held in June. We received nearly 2,000 submissions. So that's a lot of engagement that folks are able to design their own bookmark and enter the contest. So that was really great. We did have a new category this year. The adult submissions, we did receive 177. So it really just shows that our communities are participating and really engaged with what our library locations have to offer. So that's great. Some programming highlights, OMSI, Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. They hosted an offsite program at Carson Elementary in collaboration with Stevenson Community Library as well as the Skamania Bookmobile. They were able to engage the library and museum. Folks were really excited, and we had a lot of signups for summer reading through that. Another library program in celebration of America's 250th anniversary, which was really exciting. In partnership with Westport Aquarium, Vancouver Library had a hands-on they had a 100-year-old printing press and hand-cranked film projector. So they had 46 attendees, which was great, and they were able to create their own historic book and create short animations that they were able to view in the projector. So that was a really great program that was really successful. And then Jennifer is going to talk about spaces and technology.
So I assume that you've read all of these projects that are underway. There's a lot of work happening across the district. The one I will highlight today is the Vancouver Library Deck Project, which continues. So some of you have been there and have seen the progress going on. The roof re-roofing is complete, and now they're building the structure, steel structure that will be underneath the deck, and they'll start decking very soon. The project is going to last through the end of August. It includes painting all of the planters, painting all of the wood surrounding the doors, putting back in plants and irrigation. So it's a very large project, and we are talking about after it's done how we can celebrate that. So stay tuned for that. And then the Vancouver Library atrium lighting, which we've been really working on for about 2 years to find a solution to, was just completed last week. I haven't been there in the dark yet, maybe tonight, I don't know. But when I look in the daylight, the difference between what the lights looked like and what they look like now, it's a substantial change. So my hope is it's a welcoming public library space in the dark instead of more of a really dark, dim alley.
Yes.
Feel. Which you can't read any of the books that are in the atrium in the dark. So this was a large upgrade that we have been working on. At our operations center, tenant improvements are underway to build 4 offices. Part of this work is related to the fact that we have the foundation who has moved back into the operations center with us. They used to be with us. Then they went to their own space when their lease was up. We've brought them back, and we needed to reset the space a bit. So that work is underway right now. That will save the foundation about $50,000 a year in rent that will come back to the library and support for programs and services. The rest I'm not going to talk about because they're not quite ready or underway, but I can certainly answer any questions that you may have. And then overall, just this report, we continue to want to hear from you if you would like to see more or different information, but we're trying to give you lots of highlights that really represent the work that's happening underneath our strategic priorities. The reports that we get monthly internally are hundreds of pages, and we pare them down to try to get the best for you.
Questions for Jennifer or Lucian? Thank you both. Kate, welcome. Come on up. We're going to do the White Salmon Branch report.
Thank you.
Here you go, Kate.
Thank you.
You're
Now
gonna
tell
have a
me.
microphone.
I
You're
know.
gonna advance your
I have
slides.
things.
Your-
Are we ready? So how do we bring it up on the screen?
Miranda's
Okay,
trying to do that
That's
right
the-
now.
I know
we'll
how to
just
advance.
pause. You might just introduce yourself while she's
Hi.
doing that.
I am Kate Houston, new
Use your
branch manager.
microphone.
Oh, I am Kate Houston, the new branch manager for the White Salmon Valley Library. I have been here just a little over 2 months and just getting my grounding and very excited to be in this community. I come from the Portland area, not unfamiliar with the gorge, spent lots of time growing up here and being out here. So I'm excited I actually get to support now in this role. Thank you. Fabulous. Okay. So good evening, members of the Board of Trustees. Thank you for your participation and dedication. In the past year, well, not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Not
Okay,
yet.
I won't.
In the past year has been incredible here. Our staff has worked hard to keep the library at the very heart of our valley, and I'm excited to share the real direct impact of that work with you tonight. As we look back, I want to frame our successes through a special lens. The power of everyday superheroes. The library is never just brick and mortar. It is defined by the extraordinary people who bring it to life every single day. Over the past year, our branch has been sustained and propelled forward by a dedicated league of local heroes, our deeply resilient staff, our tireless friends of the library volunteers, and most importantly, the greater community that we serve. Together, they have brought our strategic priorities to life, proving that when our community unites, extraordinary things can happen. Every great hero needs to measure their impact, and our community footprint this year has been truly supercharged. Over this past year, we logged over 82,000 physical visits through our doors. A powerful indicator of the library's role as a trusted community space. Our collection proved to be a massive community resource with over 100,000 items circulated. And of note, our DVD collection is highly used as many residents do not have access to reliable streaming services or reliable internet. Beyond lending books and materials, our team kept the community connected through a busy schedule of programs. Our team coordinated and hosted 445 individual programs, bringing over 7,000 into this library. These numbers are more than simple statistics. They represent the baseline of our community's trust and our starting point for executing the Fort Vancouver Regional Library's 4 strategic plan. Priorities. Our first strategic priority is operational excellence, and its champions are the frontline staff, the resilient guardians. This year, their superpower was undeniable resilience. During a significant transitional period, without active branch management, our staff stepped up to keep the library running seamlessly. Rather than scaling back, the dedicated team stepped in. Their deep experience and dedication ensured our programs remained active, our spaces stayed welcoming, and our patrons received the exceptional care they expect. They seamlessly welcomed me in mid-May and our new public services librarian, Nicole Langley-Peralta, in June, all while continuing to create belonging services and spaces for all. Most of all, staff enrich daily patron joy by nurturing a warm and welcoming environment through signature touch points such as sprucing up spring entryway flower planters and including young patrons in our goldfish feeding routines. This operational excellence is in action, a dedicated team proving that our strength lies in our people, our commitment to keeping the library a reliable, welcoming anchor in our community under any circumstance. There we go. Our No Superhero operates entirely alone impact is multiplied through our allied league, our local partners, and tireless volunteers. Under our second priority, community connection and inclusion, we partnered with the Gorge Makerspace Many Hands Monday program. Local middle and high school students designed and constructed a new safe gravel pathway behind our library, and they cleared safety hazards from our garden. We also expanded our reach to ensure rural families felt connected to the library, bringing puppet shows and story times directly to over 60 families in BZ Corner, Dullasport, and Trout Lake, while also visiting Whitson Elementary to ensure every student is reached for summer reading. But one of the foundations of this league is our ultimate force multiplier, the White Salmon Valley Friends of the Library. Through dedicated advocacy and financial sponsorship, the incredible volunteer team ensures our most beloved learning and cultural programs are available and accessible to everyone in our community. This dedicated volunteer team runs the Friends Bookstore and raised significant funds in the store and the annual book sale to support our programs and services. Their hard work acts as a direct power source for our branch's most beloved programs, funding year-round movie matinees, purchasing youth book group supplies, and sponsoring world-class partners like Red Yarn and Takahashi Duo, ensuring the library remains robust, accessible, and free and welcoming to all. These partnerships also are represented in other ways in our community, and just a few of the ways that we work together to keep the library free and welcoming and open to everyone. In the coming year, I look forward to building new relationships with organizations across the White Salmon Valley and Western Klickitat County, discovering new ways we can support our neighbors in the community and meet their evolving needs. Our third priority, library programs, collections, and services, allows White Salmon Valley Library to champion deep community-wide literacy initiatives and to enrich lifelong learning. A prime example is our Fall Community Reads program funded by the White Salmon Valley Friends of the Library that illustrates the power of one book. The library distributed 125 free copies of Accordion Eulogies, uniting hundreds of local readers. It wasn't just a book group, it was a month-long celebration of reading, community engagement, and creative art expression. The library hosted deep cultural discussions, explored music, migration, and even accordion mechanics, yes, right here in this room. A stunning gallery exhibit featuring local artists creating art pieces inspired by the book. Beyond the White Salmon Valley Reads, the library hosted engaging, well-attended memoir writing workshops, local author talks, our Wild About Nature science lecture series, keeping adult minds active and connected year-round. And to build a strong future, we must cultivate the next generation of thinkers. The library starts early, reaching hundreds of young families through active story times and hands-on science play that make learning fun. Developing engaging, inclusive offers for our youth, teens, and families by sparking early curiosity in interactive story times, in park story times reaching up to 140 people at times, and STEM play to help hundreds of young children build early learning and critical thinking skills. By bringing families together, high-energy community performances like puppetry at our preschool harvest party and the energetic Japanese drumming, the inspiration is really addictive and very exciting and creative. By fostering belonging for growing readers with our year-round youth and teen book groups, we build reading confidence and peer relationships. And by empowering teens with our Teens After Hours immersive events like the Whodunit Mystery Night that drew over 60 teens, and you can see them lying there on the floor in the dead man pose, turning critical thinking and narrative comprehension into a live action team building game that's actually fun. Our final strategic priority is spaces and technology, and this year we successfully created an adaptable learning environment in our gallery space, hosting technology education, creative art programs, and continuing to exhibit local art year-round. We hosted intermediate school field trips where students coded Edison robots on our floor mats and transported our modular cubelet coding kits directly to local classrooms to make STEM accessible to all. We kept the Sprint Baker Gallery highly active as a beautiful canvas for the community, hosting structure paper works by Jerry Rutherford, 30 custom winter quilts, and a classical glass bottle exhibit that brought local history straight into our library. When the library isn't hosting one of its 446 programs in the gallery, it is open to the community as a vital, free, reliable third space where the community can gather, host meetings, and events open to the public. Last year, the gallery space made local residents a welcoming place to connect, hosting over 100 public meetings, workshops, and community events in our gallery. Our next adventure is already taking shape. Later this summer and in the fall, we're taking the library directly into the community to listen to what they would like and how we can serve them best. We will be gathering community feedback at the Friends Ice Cream Social, the Huckleberry Festival, and the local El Grito Hispanic Festival. That event will also be a perfect opportunity for the community to meet Nicole, our new bilingual Spanish public services librarian, and learn how the bilingual story times that are coming soon to this library and conversation circles are launching later this year. At the same time, we're gearing up for the ever-popular White Salmon Valley Reads program series with the book Crisis on the Mountain series, Stories from 100 Years of Mountain Rescue. The series always focuses on a local author. He's from Hood River. We are building great partnerships with the Mazamas, with local artists, and the Klickitat Search and Rescue Canine Unit, including Ellie and her handler, Jim, who will be the finale of our series for a family program about family adventure safety in the local area. And yes, there'll be photo ops with Ellie for families and youth. By listening to our community and supporting our staff and continuing to nurture volunteer partnerships, we will keep the library a warm, responsive, and reliable anchor in the White Salmon Valley community. Thank you, and I welcome any questions you have.
Thank you. That was really good. Definitely sounds like you've been here longer than 2 months. Really good presentation. I wondered who the dogs were. You have a guardian dog on the one slide. It said guardians.
Oh.
Do they get to bring a dog?
Well, that was somebody's dog that was waiting for their owner to pick up their holds. And we, there's Reed to the dogs, but not that dog, but they were waiting patiently outside.
Cute.
So that often happens.
Thanks.
Yeah, well done. Really excited for the library and for you. And it's such a great community here, and I'm happy to see that it's been such a smooth transition.
Thank you. Thank you. And I look forward to the future to get to know you better and to serve this community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And I have copies of the White Salmon Valley Reads book if you are interested in taking one before you leave.
Okay, we will move on to business, the policy committee, and we have the public records request policy, and this is the second reading.
It is the second reading, and we did put the legend on the document for you this time. So there were a few changes in red since last month, but very minor. And so we are bringing this to you to hopefully vote on tonight, and this brings our records request policy in line with the best practices and correct information. Happy to answer any questions or happy to have a motion.
I have a couple questions. On page 37, on the index, it says pursuant of RCW 42.560704, Port Vancouver finds that it's not required to maintain a current index of public records because the requirement is unduly burdensome. Do you unpack that a little bit for me?
Yeah, so we would have to also then read the whole board resolution that is linked here, which I don't have in front of me tonight. But essentially, what this says in maybe, could you pull that up? Because that might help.
I guess I'm curious what it means by the current index.
So indexing of every record. So think about before computers, for example, and how every single record had to be manually indexed. Obviously now records are very broad ranging. And so what we're saying is when we looked at this, our attorney looked at this, we were exempt because of how long that would take to have an index of every record created in our system. So we have a manner in which we go and search for all of the records, and it will return the results that are requested for the public records request, but we don't have an actual index of every record.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little familiar with how the tightrope balance between transparency and the tediousness of some of the work that you have to do to respond.
Yeah, I mean, we are required to keep all of our records. We're also currently working on our records retention policy, which, you know, follows state law, state best practices. But from this perspective, it's really about how those records are kept and how we access those during a records request.
The other question I had, which you may have already said, but because I understand all public records policies have to be in compliance with state law. So our legal team has looked at
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
Indexing would just, it would be a redundant step. It doesn't mean that there's any less information available, no more difficulty in the way it is now. Indexing would just be an extra
It's just
unnecessary.
not practical.
Yeah.
Right, so we have in this digital world ways of getting at all the records. When people delete something, it's actually not deleted, right, Lucian? Right. And so everything is really gained. And as the world continues to change, so will this. As AI continues to find its way into every part of every system, that's also interesting because people are using AI to, you know, maybe help them write an email. Well, you're going to get that kind of information when we're doing searching. If you ask AI a question and it's something we're collecting, that's going to come out if it has a key term. So on the practical side of this, as you know, and I've talked about this before, we do receive a lot of public records requests. I think we're up to in the 60s right now for year to date. That's a lot for an agency of our size. And it is all consuming and why we have a public records officer focused on that now. But what was my point to that? I had a point, but I might have lost.
The indexing is an unnecessary step.
Yes, so when people write in, I don't like to give examples because then everybody's gonna write in for that. But, you know, white collar, say that, white salmon belly. No, they don't ask that, but they ask different things, as you know. And so we have methods and tools for searching for those results. And different systems require different searching. But to have an index would mean every system, every record that's created would have to be indexed. It's just not practical in this day and age.
I have a couple things. So first off, just wanted to say I'm always interested to see how long it takes me to find this information on the website. And I did it in under a minute. So that was great. It means other people can find it quickly as well. I did have a question with regards to the wording under fees. It says
Pages that on?
page 38, middle of the page. It talks about public records, including the actual costs directly incident to such copying. So I just wasn't sure directly incident, if that's the correct wording or if that's I wasn't sure. It seemed a little strange.
It's a great question. I don't think that is worded properly.
Okay.
But basically, let's see what can we come up
Incidental.
with here.
Well, I was wondering if they were trying to go incidental. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That could be incidental, attributed to. Incidental is probably grammarian.
I think it's crime.
You did?
Okay.
It's funny.
Legal boilerplate. It just means for this direct incident. This is the charge
Yeah, it doesn't read very well.
of humans talk.
So in terms of public policies, yeah, we like them to be human. We like people to understand them.
You would argue it's legit?
It is, but it could also be humanized.
Yeah, I read it again. It is.
It is correct. Okay, perfect. Another question I had, it talks about under submitting requests on page 39 at the top, it talks about how you can submit them via mail or fax. So I was just thinking it might be good to add the fax number under the public records officer. We've got the phone number, but not the fax number. To add that. And then another question I had just was, talks about under denial and appeal. Which page is that one? Page 42. FVR up towards the top. FVRL may deny multiple automated or bot requests from a requester in a 24-hour period. How do you know if it's a bot? I just want to make sure that actual ones aren't getting denied. Yeah. Is there?
I agree with that.
Okay.
Pushin, how do we know if it's a bot?
Would suspect there's probably things to it. I have no idea.
We do
I
capture.
was working on a problem here, so I missed the concept.
Oh. So on the top of page 42, we're talking about that FVRL is not required to accept certain automated or bot requests. How do we know if there's multiple automated or bot requests coming in?
Definitely a judgment call if we get identical messages except for just one item.
Different. Okay.
If the return address is just clearly a fake address or something that's been auto-generated. Recently, we received messages from variants on Microsoft.com as if they had set up artificial addresses. And if they fail to reply to queries, verifying the request.
Okay. Makes sense. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in this day and age, the difficulty of being real specific. I mean, I think what he answered is what we look for. We also don't want to give ideas by saying the things we've seen. But if you'd like to know more, we can have more.
Perfect. No, that's great.
Got a question. Would you say that the amount that we're spending on this is going up every year? And can you give us a little context? When did you notice it jump, and what numbers are you seeing as far as financial numbers?
Prior to the pandemic, we had very, very few public record requests. So after the pandemic is when I would say our trend line has gone up. I don't have all that memorized, but I can certainly send you information about how many requests we've had each year, which might help you. Now, all requests are not created equal, meaning some requests are very simple and basic, and some require hundreds of hours of staff time. And so it really just depends on what the request is, but I can certainly put something together and provide it as an information piece in your packet next month if that's of interest to you.
Yeah, I think it's just good information for the public as well, because when you first hear something like this, you think, oh, it's just forwarding an email. Now that I've been involved in some of these, the amount of detail is remarkable. And I can appreciate how important this is in our, in how we function and with what's expected. But I don't know that I would have ever imagined how expensive it is. And I understand this is happening to a lot of public agencies. But it would be nice to hear, here's what we have spent on these, once or twice a year.
Sure. So I will do my best to gather kind of estimates of that. We haven't tracked it in that way of what the actual cost is, but certainly we can begin to track time differently. We can do some estimates based on what the requests were, but we haven't been tracking it in the way.
I mean, I think it would be nice to know that it's in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right.
Tens of
And
thousands of
we've had to bring in additional staff. People have had to divide up their.
Yeah, and even prior to having a dedicated staff member, people were doing this as portions of their job.
Right.
And so if they have a lot of requests that have to be prioritized, other things don't get done. And so it was detrimental. These were directors that were managing different functions that were doing this. And so today we have strategic initiatives and public records officer. We combined those functions so that there was an ability to move and expand in one area or the other as we get more questions. So we'll do an overview for you and hopefully it will help inform everyone of what's going on.
And to tag on to that, and you mentioned you didn't really keep all maybe the best records, but boy, if you could.
We have good records, Richard. We just weren't tracking cost.
The cost records. So I think it would be very valuable to go along with what Olga's saying, is to have like a 10-year graph, just showing how it has gone over the last 10 years. So I don't know how hard that would be, or.
We can certainly work on that and bring you something next month.
Because my experience, it becomes very expensive. And again, the balance between transparency, which you want, but then there's, it's difficult. So, and also, these are difficult policies. So, but they need to be done. So thanks.
Right. We have to follow the law. We have to be in compliance with the law. And certainly transparency in our organization is very important. I would also say there are costs such as keeping all of our systems functioning that are maintaining all of these records. That's a cost. You know, obviously some of those records we would need anyway to do business. Some of them we might not. And so that's part of even looking at the records retention and making sure we're not keeping more than is actually required.
Yeah, and the intention for me as a board member, why there's a little bit of scrutiny on my end is I understand that this is like I said, a very important thing that we offer to everybody, and it's something that maybe one day I need to participate with some group somewhere else. It's a good thing to protect, but because this is done in privacy and individually, I don't know that our wonderful patrons and supporters understand what an expense this can be. And as this is becoming more and more of a common practice and a way for people to, get some information that might be valuable to them, I think it would be good for them to know that, hey, this is tapping into a budget, resources, people's time. And when there's a sense of being protective over these budgets and these funds, it's just a good piece of information for the public to know, because some of the requests are so profoundly detailed, and sometimes they're not things that are actually able to be provided, but we still have to go through all these steps and all this time. Records requests that, from what I understand, can take months, just one. And so if folks could just understand that before they click, and just because we're obligated to respond, and I'm grateful for that. This is a fantastic courtesy and obligation that we have. But again, I would love to just bring this forward so people can have a sense of stewardship as they proceed. Thank you.
I love the key. This helps my brain so much. Hopefully it's not too much trouble. I love it. Thank you.
I think we're needing a motion to adopt the public records request policy with the addition of the district's fax number.
I would move to.
Question, Chair. I think, were you asking for that fax number to go on the website? Not in the policy.
Right here, too.
Where it talks about the public records officer, and just include that information.
Contact information. There's phone, telephone, email, and
You still get fax. Is that correct?
Yes.
Fax is never going to go away. Love that.
Yes.
You have AI and fax.
That's a mistake. Yes, our faxes are still very heavily used in our libraries throughout the district.
so with the addition of the fax and the contact information on page 1 of the policy, do I have a motion to approve?
I would move.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the roll, please, Miranda.
Aye.
Aye.
Olga Hodges. Aye.
Irina Kakarina.
Aye.
Behar.
Aye.
Morgan.
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye. Motion to approve the public records request policy is adopted. Thank you. Moving on. We have in your packet the revised board committee assignments. Thank you. I appreciate our new trustees stepping up to take over some of my commitments. And board comments. Does anyone have any comments? I would like to just congratulate the district on the $6 million gift for the Washable Library project. Very, very, very great work, Jennifer and Jenny.
Yes. Incredible.
I just wanted to say I attended the Downtown Vancouver Library's 15th birthday. It was wonderful. So happy birthday to the Downtown Library.
Nice.
I want to thank White Salmon for hosting us. Thank you to Friends for the snacks, for the great comments, and to Kate for the tour and the great presentation. Wishing you a great summer.
I prepared a little statement, if that's okay.
Of course.
First, I do want to pile on again. Thank you for hosting. It's been a delight just to walk through there. It was great. So I just want to say I'm honored to serve on this board of trustees. I have much to learn, and I look forward to learning from each of you. We have all been entrusted with this responsibility by the governing bodies that appointed us, and I take that responsibility seriously. Over the years, I've had the privilege of serving on several boards, and one lesson I've learned is that I have never served on a board where everyone agreed on every issue. We're all individuals with different experiences, perspectives, and backgrounds, and I'm sure that will be true here as well. There is wisdom in having a 7-member board. It allows us to bring different viewpoints to the table, listen carefully to one another, weigh the facts, discuss policies, priorities, and expenditures thoughtfully, and then vote according to our best judgment. In my 72 years of life, I've also learned that I have blind spots and that I've made several mistakes. That is one of the reasons I value serving with others. Collectively, we are often wiser than any one of us individually. I'm only one voice among 7 here, and each trustee has an equal voice. My hope is that we will always extend grace to one another, assume good intentions, and resist attributing improper motives when we disagree. Healthy disagreement, expressed respectfully, often leads to better decisions. We have been entrusted with both the public's confidence and the responsible stewardship of public funds. I look forward to working with each of you as we serve our communities together.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Sure. Does anyone else have any comments?
Yes, I would like to say thank you to particularly Sherry Braga and FVRL for supporting my effort to take books to Slovakia and bookmarks. So there, enjoy the bookmark FVRL. If there is a stick library, the dogs at Hammond, is there a library for this? Just think I want to know. For the new Matt, Jennifer, it's much easier to absorb all of that data. Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry not to be there, just a little jet lag tonight.
Hurry, we might need you to send your comment in a a written form. It's, the connection's a little bit rough. I know you thanked Sherry, and I know you just got back from an overseas trip, so I think it was something to do with things you brought back, but we couldn't hear it all. But thank you to Sherry Braga, the volunteer coordinator. All right, our next regular meeting is Monday, August 17th at 6 p.m. at the Golden Dale Community Library and on Zoom. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.